friends, welcome back to the Enchanted STAY, where fantasy books and stray kids exist in chaotic harmony. Today is a first on this channel. We're doing a full deep dive into a single song, and not just musically, but from a fantasy and literary perspective. And the song we're starting with is Back to Life by Stray Kids' Han. Because this isn't just about perseverance. This is a resurrection story. So today we're breaking down themes, archetypes, tropes, and literary devices, and matching it with fantasy stories that carry the same energy. So grab your sword, your light stick, and get back to life. Core theme: resurrection and self-reclamation. The lyrics, "'cause I'll come back to life." This line is the core of the entire song. Not survival, not endurance, but rebirth. In fantasy, this falls under the death and rebirth arc, the phoenix archetype, and the unkillable protagonist. But what makes this song interesting is that the death isn't physical. It's identity loss, pressure, isolation, internal conflict. Lines like, "I still don't know why I should live a life, and seems like they really want me to be alone," point to something deeper, the death of the self under expectation. This is very similar to fantasy protagonists who lose themselves to power, lose themselves to destiny, or lose themselves just trying to survive. Internal versus external conflict. What I love about this song is that the conflict isn't external. There's no villain here. The enemy is doubt, pressure, identity fragmentation. Am I wrong or right? You'll know it in time. The lyrics, "Am I wrong or right? You'll know it in time." That's uncertainty. That's a character who hasn't fully anchored themselves yet. In fantasy terms, this is the lost heir, the reluctant chosen one, or the character between identities. The scars line symbolism. The lyrics, "Every scar is proof I tried." This is such a fantasy-coded line. Scars in fantasy are never just physical. They represent survival, failure, transformation. This is classic the marked hero and the survivor archetype. Characters who carry visible or invisible proof of what they've endured. Not clean, not perfect, but real. Duality, light versus dark. In the sunlight, in the moonlight, I was out of sight, you know. The lyrics, "In the sunlight, in the moonlight." This line introduces duality. Day versus night. Public versus private. Strength versus vulnerability. Fantasy thrives on this. This is the dual self trope and the mask versus true identity. And when Han says, "I was out of sight," that suggests invisibility, isolation, and being unseen despite existence. That's incredibly powerful and very common in fantasy characters who feel disconnected from the world. Identity reconstruction. The lyrics, "Who I used to be, I'll forget, become someone new." This is not healing. This is reconstruction. And that's important. Fantasy often frames this as a rebirth through destruction, becoming something different, not returning to what you were. This is the difference between healing arcs and transformation arcs. And Back to Life is clearly transformation. The turning point, breaking free. The lyrics, "My mind's lucid, done being foolish. Finally, I'm breaking free." This is the character turning point. In storytelling, this is the moment of clarity. The shift from reaction to action. The protagonist stops asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and instead starts saying, "I choose what happens next." Final message, Defiance. The lyrics, "They say give it up. tell him not enough. This is pure defiance. This is the moment where external voices lose power and internal voice becomes dominant. Fantasy-wise, this is the self-made hero and the defiance of fate. Fantasy book recommendations. If you love Back to Life, you will probably love these stories. Throne of Glass. You have survival, identity, and becoming something more. The Poppy War. You have power, destruction, and transformation. Red Rising. You have rebellion, identity shift, and rising again. An Ember in the Ashes. You have endurance under oppression. The Fifth Season. You have grief, survival, and breaking and rebuilding. Iron Widow. You have rage, defiance, and rewriting destiny. Empire of the Vampire. We have scars, survival, and darkness versus self. Daughter of the Moon Goddess. We have resilience and identity. If this song hits you emotionally, these books probably will too. Back to Life isn't just about getting back up. It's about choosing who you become after you fall. And that's what makes it feel so epic. Not because it's loud, but because it's personal. Let me know in the comments. What line hit you the hardest? And which skit song I should deep dive next? If you love this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay chaotic, stay magical, stay.